Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician, and today we're going to be looking at the Milspin utility knife, or EDC knife. And I've been mentioning this on my Amazon tool deal videos for a few months. I've mentioned it a couple of times, and I'm glad that I held off on purchasing it because this is the Milspin Magnus 2.0, so it has been updated from the first version, and primarily all of the videos that I've seen, or the shorts that I've seen on this, is all of the version 1.0. And so I'm going to get into the changes, differences, my thoughts on it, all of that good information. And I put it off for a while because of the pricing, because it's not cheap. It comes in two options. You can either get 100% brass or a 100% aluminum, minus the blades, obviously. So the brass one that we have here is going to be a heftier feel. It's got some good weight to it for sure. And then the aluminum is your more lightweight version of this. It does come packaged in this little tube, which it just has Milspin information on here, all that good stuff. It does come with 5 extra blades in this pack, and then the blades in the utility knife itself. Milspin is a veteran-owned company, and they make a lot of back plates for like Glocks, but they have a couple other cool items, and this being one of them. So I finally picked it up, and like I said, I'm glad I waited because I like the updates that they made to this. So it does have a lanyard hole here, so if you want to carry it outside or have it kind of hanging inside of your pocket. It does have 3 locking positions for the blade: fully closed, halfway, and all the way. And it just simply operates by spring pressure here. So you just simply press and slide. Operates really smoothly. And then you can kind of feel it stop at the detents. I like its operation. I think it could use a little bit more spring pressure because I am kind of nervous to carry this in my pocket because of how close the blade is to the edge. If it just slightly gets pushed in and comes forward, I'll let you guys know if I end up with a gash in my thigh. But I think it's an amazing design. It's absolutely beautiful. There you can see the build. Made in the USA. And another thing I want to note is, besides me being nervous about carrying this in my pocket, when you're going to cut something, you got to be careful not to like grab or apply pressure here, because then the blade will want to slide. But if you grab the back, the spring pressure doesn't do anything, so you can still grip it here. And if you just grip the top and bottom, it still works just fine. But if you're going to grip here, you just have to be careful not to release it from its detent. Those are just a couple things I noticed in the few days that I've had it so far. But the changes that they made from the version 1 to version 2.0 is the back of the utility knife used to have an opening here with slots that you could actually see the detents where the blade moved and locked in. I do like that that is no longer there. It also used to require a tool to change the blade, and the design on how it was assembled was slightly different, was a little bit more cumbersome to work with. They simplified that, made it a toolless blade change. They've also added a slot for a spare blade back there. As you can see, the blades are also made in the USA, which I thought was really cool. So a nice little USA made utility knife. So you can get this in 100% brass or 100% aluminum, whether you want it to be heavier or lighter. You kind of get those two options. And I think their old design did not accept your standard utility blade design. They had like a specific one that you had to purchase in order to work with this one. This one will accept most all, standard utility blade designs. So that is also a nice update. It comes with a total of 7 blades. You get 5 in this spare package here, 1 in the tool, and then 1 as a spare in the tool. So I've only had this thing a few days, and I've already, it's great for boxes, plastic. I've opened a lot of packages already. Whether you're working with carpet or zip ties, the box cutters or utility knives can just be fantastic for, so many different things. And I like to have a little EDC version of them. And I thought this was a super cool design. Like I said, I've been looking at this thing for months. So it's got this thumb groove here for the push button mechanism. You can kind of use that as your sliding point. And then it has a textured serration finish. You can see all the serrations in it, and that just makes it extremely grippy. Like, you can get a good grip on this. It's not like sharp to where it's hurting your hands or anything like that. They did a good job beveling the edges and all of that. It feels really good in the hand, and it's very, very grippy with this texture. So let's go ahead and break it down. So in order to open it up, you slide it all the way forward, and then you're going to push down on this tab here, and that will allow you to slide it all the way forward. And then you're going to have two pieces here. One's going to have a spring in the back of it. That is going to be the spring pressure for your button. And then here's the blade. You can see the set screw there. So I'm not getting that off the mat now. That's sketchy. So then you can take your blade and just simply loosen the screw. And now this blade can be removed, but I'm just going to leave it in there. You just kind of line it up with the edge here. And then you snug it down. There you can see it's basically applying pressure to the back side of the blade to hold it in there. I really like that design. Makes it much easier than what I saw on the previous design. And I set that blade right back down. Come on, man. Okay, sorry about that. I had some trouble getting it off of my magnetic mat. I didn't think this through. So then to reassemble, I just put the spare blade back in there. You take this portion, take your spring, line it up with this hole, like so. You just simply press them together. Then you're going to slide it back in, press down on this again, and then once you get it to that point, you can just kind of slide it together. Very easy to operate, very easy blade change. Not as, not the easiest blade change out there, but still, if I was doing this off camera, I could probably do it in 20 seconds and be just fine. It is quite sharp. It's a razor blade, so it better be good at cutting boxes, tape, plastic, zip ties, all of that good stuff. But I just really like the design. I love the build quality. I love that it's made in the USA. And as far as pricing, it is going to range. If you catch them on sale, maybe sometimes you can catch it around $30, but it will sell up to around $35. And I made a bunch of purchases on the Prime Day sales, so this is what I picked up, and very, very impressed with it. So the only thing I worry about is the spring pressure, which worst case scenario, I'm sure I could find a little bit tougher spring to create more resistance here, but not something I'm super worried about, but something I do have in the back of my mind. But that's just a quick look at the Milspin Magnus 2.0 made in the USA. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to drop a comment down below. And once again, I'll have this link down in the description for you guys. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to smash that thumbs up. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.